Hi, and welcome to the weekly predictions based on astrology for the week of August 24, 2020. To start off, let's talk about the stock market direction for this week. I think that the market will be more likely to go up on Monday through Wednesday and then down on Thursday and Friday. In terms of the main geopolitical events and weather events, etc., to keep in mind, we have these ongoing really serious, intense transits, particularly Saturn conjunct Pluto and now Jupiter in Capricorn, that often coincide with a variety of problems such as geopolitical shifts, leaders who have been in power for a long time being disposed, or some sort of shakeups at the tops of corporations, and of course including also disasters such as earthquakes or old buildings collapsing, some infrastructure repairs kind of going wrong, etc. And this is this ongoing background influence that has been with us since 2019 and will continue through the end of 2020. However, this week, and I would say through early September, we will have additional factor, which is Mars, the god of war, fire, explosions, all that good stuff, is in its own sign of Aries, which gives it extra strength, and it is unfortunately in a tense square transit to these three planets in Capricorn. And Capricorn has to do with things that are stable, solid, top of the mountain, top of the career, politician who has been in power for a long time, or corporate officer who is also at the top of his or her career. And so this Mars, the riots, the explosions, or incidents, accidents, attacks, etc., is going to be challenging this existing structure. So as for previous week, definitely this week we'll have increased probability of earthquakes, various disasters, and especially something that may have to do with something that's moving really fast, moving something that's immobile. So maybe an accident involving maybe a racer or an athlete who's going at a high speed, and then unfortunately they crash and they fall down from a height. Or it could be somebody who is being, like a leader who has been, Lukashenko comes in mind. So will be definitely who has been in power for a long time and either can retire voluntarily or may potentially be attacked or forced to move, from that position that this person has been holding for a long time. And also, of course, we can have this increased probability of various disasters that may have to do with, say, buildings who have been, or some infrastructure kind of, projects that have been going on for a really long time. And literally, they're made out of like rock, metal, things that typically are strong and solid. But at this particular time, with this increased pressure, they may break, maybe because something has worn out or because it's being subjected to fire or explosion or some sort of a shakeup. And again, this could be an earthquake, or suddenly the structure is collapses because of some really strong impact, like a sudden impact, because Mars usually comes in like this brute force. At the same time, because of this conjunction of the three planets in Capricorn, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, we're also talking about structures themselves that have been in power for a long time, kind of expanding to the point that when they can hardly be contained, or if there are secrets that maybe were associated with these corporations or leaders, they may now be coming up to the surface. Or if there were some dirty things that some corporations or some leaders were involved in, again, now they will be coming up to the surface to the point where they can hardly be contained and can either contaminate, so to speak, the environment and turn people against them, or if this is a situation where, again, this is a infrastructure project or a building, or the waste, say, has been buried underground, there may be a situation where now it's coming up to the surface and contaminating the environment, and it rapidly needs to be dealt with, or vice versa. There is an earthquake or some sort of a shakeup, and that's causing whatever was underground to suddenly come up to the surface and again contaminate the environment, and that may be a very unpleasant situation affecting many people. So this particular time period, like I said, will be significant through about September 3rd, maybe 4th, and I would pay particular attention to the 29th and 30th of August. And then unfortunately, I don't have time to get into it in this video, but I did take a quick glance at the future upcoming weeks. And unfortunately, we'll have some of these situations repeating coming into September and even October, where whatever is starting at this time, say something starting to crack, or a leader is being, forced to maybe reduce their control over some territory or give away some of their powers, there will be a follow-up, and maybe for a while things kind of quiet down. For rather later in September and then in October, there may be a follow-up situation that may, either it will be a cleanup of what's happening right now, or it will be, this would be like the first wave or the first, quake, and then will be an after sort of a after shock or whatever coming still in September, October. So I will look into that and we'll cover that in the future videos. So let's see, and I already mentioned that in my blog at tosunka.com like weeks ago, that basically August will be one of the kind of a really tense months in general, and specifically for US and China. So for US, the issues that may come up this month and this week would be things related to like bankruptcies, debt, concerns about debt, loans, power shifts also, and especially the well-being of companies related to like retail sales, communication and transportation. So that definitely is still in force this week. And for China, this month is also going to be critical, but then the focus there may be on things related to like water, navy, healthcare, oil, gas, including pollution, of the oil, of the water, or water with oil, chemicals, also recycling, waste, secretive activities, places that are like remote and sort of far away from everything, or are secretive because they're underground, literally some labs or something, biomedical research. And again, pollution, contamination, and water. Of course, we had news about major flooding in China, and this is like ongoing situation, unfortunately, but this week particularly, and this whole month is kind of stressful for China, but the situation that but focuses on the sort of major transformations in the area related to, again, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, this kind of biomedical research, also water, pollution, etc., is also a background influence that will continue to be with us for another, I'd say, year, and had started back when, in like 2018. And basically, at the end, it may result in the major transformation in some of these industries, and say how medical like research is conducted, or some sort of healthcare standards, or if there's a major disaster associated with these floods, they may need to really change or upgrade, or I guess repair a lot of the infrastructure, like in buildings, maybe dams, and there will be a lot of things that really would need to be started like from scratch, because some certain things will have just been completely demolished, or just certain sort of reform may need to be implemented to completely change the status quo, and say how the research on infectious diseases is handled. So certain things may kind of expand on the one hand, maybe in China's favor, where maybe they develop a new vaccine, or they develop, or rather they come up with a new technology that allows them to dominate in some body of water, etc. At the same time, there's also a chance of things kind of coming crashing down and being obliterated, and that may necessitate, like I said, starting things from scratch, where if something gets out of control, it needs to be terminated completely with whatever the casualties, and then certain things need to be completely reformed. So the best case scenario is just that the country decides, okay, this is no longer working for us. Like we don't want to recycle waste this way at this point. We want to change how we're dealing with this. Or the negative situation would be the dam bursts, or maybe the waste leaks to the point where there's so much contamination that is just there's no other option but to really completely revamp how the country handles these kind of situations. And these are related to the 12th house in China's chart. They have Jupiter there, so on the one hand it kind of is a lucky break there, so it helps China be successful and say expanding on the bodies of water, doing biomedical research, or exploiting water or secretive activities to their favor. At the same time, currently we have a lot of sort of really stressful transits to that particular area of their chart, which again may indicate total revamp of those areas and potentially, revamp voluntarily, where they just reinvent and reform things, or it could go through first destruction, complete destruction, and then things just need to be built from scratch, I guess, because there is no other option. And specifically for China, this particular weekend, the 29th and 30th of August, I would pay special attention to those dates, especially the 30th, where it really is kind of hammering China's chart, where if there is a possibility of something breaking, dam bursting, or at least some really critical situation occurring, or infectious diseases, or outbreak of something, or pollution, etc., that's when it potentially may occur this week. So this leads me to just general, news about oil and what to expect this week. There definitely will be increased focus on oil, again, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, gas, etc., globally as well. And that would be especially strong on August 26th through 31st, and again, especially 29th and 30th. So globally, as well as for China, these areas are quite significant. And the nature of the news could be like somewhat stressful. Maybe a deal was to be signed and it's not reached, or some countries like OPEC countries were discussing something and they couldn't reach an agreement, or maybe there's a transportation over water and it got stuck in bad weather, or some embargo or something like that. And at the same time, there may be positive news for US at the exact same time, again related to like oil, where actually if it's a project that's related to US, it actually may go well. So maybe like some sort of transportation of oil deal is signed. So it looks somewhat more stressful, especially stressful for China, but somewhat beneficial for the US. Right. And let's see, then in the future, if you're specifically interested in kind of developments related to oil, gas, chemicals, etc., the next time period to kind of look for it, stronger, important developments, like on, again, long-term scale would be November this year through February of next year, especially at the end of January. There may be, again, some really strong emphasis on these areas, including either strong possibility of some maritime like disaster, dam bursting, again, more flooding, and or at the same time there may be some problems related to like countries that are specifically oil producers. So there will be more tensions and potentially affecting stock market, especially at the end of January, with some sort of a big volatility, high volatility in the stock market. And after that, it would be April of 2021, where there may again be fighting over oil or some major oil-related events that may affect stock market, especially April 8th through 11th. So going back to kind of more details of this week, Monday, Tuesday, 24th and 25th may see stronger than usual market moves, and possibly on the optimistic news from the US, perhaps increased bank assets, increased stability, improved real estate market conditions, something like that. At the same time, also on the 24th through 26th, so first few days of the week, there may be increased focus on various international deals, sales, or agreements that perhaps control or rather deal with like import-export taxes, or movement of goods and people across borders, also related to farming, food production, and homeland security. So there may be some deals, maybe like a large acquisition of land somewhere, or maybe a purchase of a really important building, but this could be an international company coming and buying it, or one country purchases a piece of land of another country, something like that, or just some agreement between banks. But again, this will be something along the lines of this as being an international event or international corporations coming together. It will not be just within one country. And however, this situation may have follow-up, as I mentioned, in September, October, because whatever the situation may be at this time, say there's a deal either signed or being discussed, there may be questions about either legality of it, or one of the international partners may find the conditions not acceptable, and there may be some subsequent fighting either against the deal or like I said, questions about legality of it, or some needs to be, there may need to be like an official governmental agreement in order for this deal to go through, etc. And that influence will pick up around September 11th through October 23rd, and there may even be, like I said, either international fighting or fighting about legality of this particular agreement that we may see come up in the news between August 24 and 26. So as I mentioned, this is quite a tense week, especially 29th and 30th, and other kind of events that we may potentially expect. Obviously, if you live in the areas or if you're tracking areas that are prone to that, so we could have more earthquakes, especially really large, massive earthquakes, mudslides, volcanic eruptions, sort of increase of the seismic activity in general, difficulties involving like higher level officials from the governments, corporate officers, disasters that involve large, like old or tall buildings or structures collapsing, and problems for individuals who are like extra macho, extra like I guess military or athletes who specifically are either into racing or fighting, like cyclists or car racing, etc. Because again, the stronger kind of the more they exert their efforts, unfortunately, the more likely there will be some sort of pushback. Vice versa, of course, there may be also increased governmental protests, and again, the stronger the protests, the more sort of the stronger the force that will be pushing against that. So definitely continuing governmental, anti-governmental rather protests. That's a global influence right now, and it's not about to subside. In fact, it might intensify, especially on the weekend, 29th and 30th. However, I guess what can be said about this positive, is there a positive, I guess, silver lining to all of that? So I guess if there's a project that perhaps maybe there's an old building and it needs to be demolished, or maybe somebody is trapped somewhere and machinery needs to go through to save them, this is definitely a good time for breaking through various like obstacles on the walls, demolishing old structures. Like demolition may go faster than expected. Obviously, this requires extra precaution because objects may fall sort of further away than expected, but things may collapse quicker and earlier than expected. And then sort of, I guess we're getting a little bit into next week, but 28th through 31st of August may see increased news about financial institutions of all kinds, including banks, as well as just earnings in general, banks' assets, rates, loans, etc. And there may be some concerns about manipulative activities like spying, hacking, hidden money, debt, kind of tax evasion, or even loss of earnings. And this may either be because of governmental regulations, or maybe these manipulative activities will trigger some sort of a governmental actions where more controls will be implemented. And there also may be increased news about, as I said, oil and gas as commodities, but also about anything that's related to sort of other Neptunian matters, such as pharmaceuticals, drugs, infectious diseases, pollution, drugs, music, movies, photography, religion. And those areas may experience like serious sort of problems to, again, from like the excessively wet weather, maritime disasters, problems with shipment over the water, or perhaps some situations that involve maybe places of worship or religious figures or musicians, actors, etc. And there may also be increased news about like sales of these products or these commodities, and concerns about profits from products or from the related products or commodities. So let's see. For US, I would pay attention to the whole period of 24th of August through about the 4th of September. And again, this will be specifically for US. There will be increased focus on, again, financial institutions, banks, also earnings, rates, etc. And let's see, and there may be some, it may involve governmental regulations or perhaps arguments over the costs, and the costs could be related to either spend on military or should the military be funded. And basically it may be something like a fighting over policy for funding military, or for some sort of a project that again involves weapons or military, or some expenses associated with weapons or military. And that's for August 24th through September 4th for US. Then globally, August 26th through 31st, especially the 27th and 30th, or through 27th through 30th, may see also increased sort of focus on various negotiations, sales, and transportation of oil, gas, and chemicals. And that may involve or result in changes in the value of these products. And definitely, I'm not sure exactly in which direction. It's possible that actually the value may go up, like the oil price may go up, or price of or value of some chemical or pharmaceutical, some medicine or something may go up, and that could be one possible outcome. The other possible outcome would be there may be, or I guess this could be happening in parallel, but that there is an excess of a particular commodity or particular element. So this would be maybe excess of water, and or excess of oil, or excess of problems related to, again, say ships. And the end of the month may kind of see news after news about these similar events. And in particular, because we have this, we will have the strong opposition between these planets in Capricorn, the slow-moving planets in Capricorn. At the end of the month, there will be and transit from Venus from Cancer to those, while Venus will be also trining Neptune, which has to do with water. So we'll have this free flow of water, and water is happily flowing. At the same time, it may affect the value of Venus of various things that are related to Cancer, which again is specifically crops, farmlands, any company that produces food, as well as any sort of banks, assets, again, that are specifically tied, I guess, to land, real estate investments, etc. So there indeed may be major situation, again, especially 29th and 30th, where there will be some large events that may involve oil, chemical, pollution, water, and that may affect the price of both the actual, like I said, these commodities and related products like oil, gas, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, etc., but also may affect the grains, or the price of grains, or even land, or real estate. So definitely a tense end of the month. And for China, as already mentioned, it looks super, super tense, both because they were going through this major slowly unfolding transit since about 2018 that really underscores various events related to, again, pharmaceuticals, infectious diseases, biomedical research, oil, navy, and anything to do with water, really, as well as secrets, etc. And these are the areas where there probably already were ongoing developments that are associated with various reforms, that the old way of doing things was being transformed into new ways of doing things, and new sort of firsts where milestones were being reached. And of course we had this situation with COVID-19 in China this year, starting in January sometime, and then now we have these floods. So this definitely will continue for China through at least the end of this year. But this month and this week, there are fairly tense aspects, triggering again more issues in those areas. And indeed, if there's a possibility of problems, and you're in one of those areas, I would say definitely finding a safe place, especially on the weekend. Now, because there will be additional follow-up aspects to these same areas in September and October, I'm not sure that necessarily this week, if some, say, dam were to burst, or there is some sort of underground storage collapses and some waste contaminates water, that this may not be the event just yet, or it could be one of the events and like a shock, but then there may be an aftershock or follow-up still in September and October. So maybe more rain, or maybe the follow-up cleanup activities, or if something, say, has a like gives way partially at this time, the full kind of impact may still occur in September and October. Let's see, so then on, like I said, Thursday, Friday market may go down because the mood may change a little bit from more optimistic mood at the beginning of the week to more of a like serious practical mood where investors will be more thinking kind of long term and aiming for safe investments. And there may be, regardless of the direction, I think there will be a reversal in the market from the direction on the Friday, which I think will be a down direction, to Monday 31st, which I think will be an up direction. And on September 1st, 2nd, I think we will be getting again into a more serious, I guess I'm jumping to next week, but just to give you a preview, I think September 1st and 2nd, maybe things will again continue to be kind of more serious, as in like not necessarily depressing, but investors may indeed be more concerned about just safety, security of their investments, and kind of making sure that there's the banks, are stable, that their assets are stable. And let's see, and then early next week, 31st, the market I think may potentially go up again, most likely a reversal from Friday, whatever the direction. But 30th and 31st actually look positive for US, where there may be positive news specifically for US, for like social media, car manufacturers, airplanes, education, and communication and transportation businesses in general. Maybe there will be announcements of those companies having increased earnings or higher sales or increased investments. Their stock prices may go up, or maybe there's some improved conditions for their growth, like they get a tax break or some deal or something that's, again, government and maybe helps them in some way. So for US, it does look a little bit better than globally at this time. And to, I guess, onto like the next month, I will post predictions about that separately. And as an FYI, I first post the predictions on my blog at pilstunka.com, and then I record these videos. So if you check me out on my blog, you probably will be the first ones to find out, but I'll come back and I'll record videos to follow up on this as well. So stay safe. Definitely, I would say a tense week. However, it's now that you have this important information, definitely keep your eyes open and do the best, and hope you stay safe and come back. Check me out next week. Until then, bye.